Welcome, dear listeners, to the Speak and Flow podcast, where we dive into unique experiences and share insights to help you and your team unleash the power of their voice, achieve maximum potential, and flow. Today, I have a leader who is so dedicated to building communities and fostering people, bringing people together. He is a longtime community-led growth leader. He has built communities for big companies such as Asana, Evernote, CBS News, as well as smaller professional organizations. His name is Joshua Zerkel. Welcome, Joshua.
Hi, thanks, Melinda.
I'm so glad you're here. I am excited about our conversation today. It is jam-packed with amazing nuggets. But first, can you share with our audience, what does a community-led growth leader do?
That is a very good question. So, in the world of business and nonprofits and just life, there's always groups of people that come together around a topic or something they're interested in or a project that they're working on. A community-led growth leader sits within a team at an organization, like one of the ones that you'd mentioned. And my job is to create programs, experiences, and structures to bring people together around the company that I work at. So, for instance, at Asana, my job was to create a community for our customers so that they could learn how to use the product better, get ideas from one another, share what they were creating, and then advocate to other people within their teams and beyond. So, a community-led growth leader is really there to help facilitate bringing people together so that they can get more value out of what we offer, and in turn, creating value for the company that I work at.
Yes, and because this is such a spin on how people and companies usually do their growth expansion has been traditionally through marketing. We know that also there's like platforms such as, if you don't have a company, Meetup has been popularized as a way to bring like-minded people together. So in the same sense, you do this for companies, bringing
Exactly.
the people that want to know your company and like your product, your services, the people, you bring them all together. And so what has been the traditional way of companies growing in marketing?
I mean, traditionally, it's the things that we're all used to, but mostly ignore, where we
Mhm.
see ads, we see billboards,
Yeah.
we are sold. Those things still have a role to play. You still need to become aware of a brand or a product. You still need to see messaging about it. But at this point, most people don't just see an ad and buy something. That those days are long over. Buyers
Yeah.
today, they ask people in their network what they like to use. They go online and do research. They may research many tools or products before they make a final purchasing decision, and they may need to come across a brand multiple times before they decide what to do.
Mhm.
Community helps facilitate and speed all of those processes along, because by building a community for your brand or your product or your service, you're creating a network of people that are really excited about what you do, who really believe in it and become advocates on your behalf. That way, when that person who's searching for a product or a service asks their network, you can raise your hand and say, hey, this is what I use. Here's why I like it. Think about choosing this when you're making your decision.
Mhm.
It adds an authentic voice into that often very blast messagey marketing mix,
Mhm. Mhm.
where you're hearing from real people about their real experiences.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
craft the community, but I don't control what people say. I want to make sure they have a good experience so that they say positive things, but I want it to be authentic. And that's the value.
Right. And so what if companies don't do it? What if companies say, I don't believe this community thing? What do you think could happen?
I think they're behind the times,
Mhm.
frankly. They're out of step with how buyers purchase, and they're out of step with how users experience a
Mhm.
product and want to get more out of it. I think the real danger for them is that they get left behind
Mhm.
because their competitors are probably already spinning up community programs or building networks of advocates or showing their customers more attention in ways that a competitor may not be. And
Mhm.
so by not creating a deliberate effort towards building community, I think they're just really missing out on all the good things that come when you have a network of people who really care about what you do.
Mhm.
That's something that takes time to create and craft, but impossible to replicate. There's never going to be another community exactly like the one that's built around your brand, your persona. It's
Yeah.
really specific to you. And so by not doing that, you're just missing a lot of really important opportunities for growth and for getting people excited.
Yeah. What are companies doing? What do you see are the top three things that compete with building a community? Like you said, one is blasting with online marketing, social media, billboards, email. Like what are some of the other things that companies do?
I think most of the time it falls into the traditional marketing categories, which are like brand building, brand awareness, like
Uh,
billboards, paid ads, ads in magazines, newspapers, like offline, and then online, of course, all the paid digital ads, social media ads,
yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
still important. They still have an important role
Right.
to play. And then the other thing companies do is they invest a lot in sales.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Mm-hmm.
you need to get people to be interested to reach out to sales in most cases before they can actually decide to close a deal. So
Mm-hmm.
companies are still investing in these very traditional methods, which again are part of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
But community is like a force multiplier for all of those things because if a company is spending money on social media advertising, a community program can equip its members to amplify all of those messages. If
Mm-hmm.
a company is investing in sales, a community program can help identify potential high quality prospects or leads based on what's happening in the community and how people are discussing the product. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a layer that's just being missed when companies are investing in these more traditional routes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see. And so tell us more about what is your process for building a community.
Yeah, I think for building a community, it's important to recognize like one that your company or organization really values that this is a thing that's worth investing in because it is a process that's frankly pretty new to
Mhm.
most organizations. And it does take a little bit of understanding things in a way that's a little bit more nuanced than we make an ad, someone clicks on it, or we send an email and someone clicks on it, or someone
Right.
calls sales and they close a deal. I approach community building pretty methodically. I built a whole model and framework around how I do this. I call it the growth model. It's essentially the G is for generating insights. It's just like doing research and understanding what your company needs and what your members might want. The R stands for readying your program for launch. So really spending time making sure that everything works, it's high quality, it's giving people what they ask for. The O stands for opening and launching to customers. So really making a big impression right away with when you launch the program to
Mhm.
your folks. The
Mhm.
W is for working the data. So that really means using information that's within your community, the data that's there, to understand what people want, what they're asking for, what they might need, and how you can make the program better. And that leads to the T in the growth model, which is tweak and adapt, really
Mhm.
adjusting the program to meet the needs of the business and participants. And
Mhm.
then the final letter H is for harnessing momentum. So you can really grow and scale this over time. So each step has work that you do specifically to craft the program so that it matches to what the business goals are and the needs of the people who participate in it. That's one big difference between community and other forms of go-to-market or marketing methods or sales methods is in a more traditional model, it's really transactional. You see an ad, you click, you buy.
Mhm.
And an
Mhm.
email, you read it, maybe you click to learn a bit more about a product or service. With community, it's about a relationship. It's
Mhm.
relationship building at scale. So if I do my job well in building community, I may send a message to our community members telling them about something that we're doing for them as a part of the program. If I
Mhm.
do the job well, they respond back. They
Mhm.
say, "Oh, that's great," or "Tell me more," or "How can
Mhm.
I participate? How can I be engaged?" And the conversation continues. So this is a very different, longer term, more relationship-based way of thinking about engaging customers.
Yeah, I love that. And how valuable is that to really listen, get the customer insights, to then, like you said, be able to tweak and to modify. And so I had a question. So if a company were to do this, do you recommend that they do it? I think it probably depends on the phase of the company. Do you do it at a large scale, or do you suggest they do it at like for each of their platforms, like each of their social media efforts?
That's a good question. I'm a fan of starting small
Mm-hmm.
in a manageable way, but planning for what the future might look like.
Okay.
So even though your future vision might have like many pieces and different parts
Right.
of the program and span many different channels, maybe today, right now, you only have the person power and the resources to start with one. I'd rather
Mhm.
you start with one than wait till the future when you can build it all at once and have the whole shebang. I don't
Yes.
think that's a recipe for success. I think better to start small, get the
Yeah.
feet wet, get people into the community, get them excited, and then as you progress over time and your community grows, add on pieces that work towards that vision that you've laid out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you can't do it today, at least you have the path towards where you want to go. You
Exactly.
can start working piece by piece to get there.
I love it. And can you share with us an example of what you've done at a company from
Yeah.
before to yeah, before and after?
Yeah, so when I got to Asana, there was no community program. They had
Wow.
just launched a community forum, which is the most traditional aspect of community, where you can go online, you search for an answer to your technical problem or question, and then you see
I
it and you leave.
cannot stand those.
Yeah, those are
Cannot stand
great.
them.
They serve a purpose, but that's not a true community. That's more of like a utilitarian tool.
Yes, yes.
So when I got to Asana, I spent some time listening to customers,
Okay.
just what they would want out of a community program. Then I listened to internal stakeholders to better understand what their goals were, and
And
then
what
map
did you
those two
find?
together.
What did you find at Asana?
I found that generally speaking, people were very excited about community, but they didn't know what they wanted it to do
Okay.
because most people don't have professional experience in
Yes.
working with communities. It's pretty
Right.
rare. And so
Right.
the people who had experience with communities at prior roles, they understood, okay, well, I'd like community to support our marketing efforts by amplifying our messages,
Mhm.
or I'd like community to be part of the sales process so that decision makers can be influenced by people on their teams who are actually using Asana. So
Mhm.
some people were able to understand what was possible, and others I had to guide.
Got
So
it.
that's fairly typical because not everyone has this experience.
Right.
But with that information in hand, both from our customers and from internal stakeholders, then I was able to map out what the program might look like. Just as I mentioned, like I created the vision for what was possible. And I envisioned a program where we had online conversations via our forum and via Slack. We had members who really raised their hand and really wanted to participate in an extra way called ambassadors. We created
Mm,
special resources and programming for them.
I love
And we
that.
created events in person
Yeah.
and online to
Yeah.
help get people excited, invigorated, and learn together about how
Yeah.
we can hear from one another.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it all on day one, so we started piece by piece, but we eventually got to the bigger vision and beyond.
Wow. And how do you think it transformed it? What are the results of it, the outcomes of it?
Yeah, the way that I look at it is through the lens of the business and through the lens of participants. So
Mhm.
for the business, for Asana, I mean, it resulted in, like, if we're looking at hard numbers, like there was over $100 million in pipeline generated from community members, which is
Nice.
impressive, I think.
There
Uh,
you go. I hope you got a
I'm quite
sliver of
happy with
that,
that.
a good portion of that.
Yeah, I feel like very, very proud of that accomplishment, but also the people who participated in our program, they were just more likely to use the product and
Yes.
engage
Yes.
with it and share it with their teams, which to me, that's the whole point is like, we want people using this thing. Can we, via community, drive them towards that? And as it turns out, we did and we could. Then there's the lens of the participant experience, what customers get out of it. And for them telling me or telling my team, I was able to get a promotion because I became the Asana expert on my team and it really showed value to my business. Or I started a consulting business based around Asana because I learned so much in the program. Or I'm just able to do my job more easily or more effectively because I've learned more about using this tool and I've heard from other members how they use it. Like to me, that's equally valuable because if I don't create that value for people who participate in the program, we won't get any of those business results that I just mentioned. So
Mhm.
it's really holding both at the same time and making
Mhm.
sure that we're driving towards those goals for everybody.
Wow. That's amazing. That's so fascinating. It's great. I love the way that business is going with this. I think like you said, if you don't do it, you're behind the times. What a great opportunity to engage many more people beyond what you thought was possible. Not just like you said, clients, but collaborators, partners, clients, team members and executives. It's just a beautiful, it's wonderful community.
I
Yeah.
love it. And I think
Yeah.
it speaks to how we are as humans. We like being
Yes,
connected to
yes,
other people. I think
right.
in business, we forget that at the end of the day, we're still dealing with people. Like
Yeah,
even if you work with a big company, you're not working with the logo, you're
yeah,
working with the people who are there. And community really reintroduces the humanity, the human interaction experience back into what have been very transactional business processes. Not that those are bad or wrong.
right.
It's just you need the complement of, hey, we need to talk to the people also. We're not talking to the logo.
Yes. Love it. And you have a book, right? You're writing a book. Tell us more about it.
Yes, I'm in the process of writing a book about community-led growth. For me personally, this has been a very long time coming. I've been doing community work for close to 20 years in the community-led growth space, and I felt like it was a good opportunity for me to encapsulate my experiences, what I've learned, and show people and companies how to do it. Because there's no real instruction available for how to create communities. You can't go to school for this sort of information. There are some courses you can take online, but I feel like I have a unique perspective having done this for so long, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be part of getting this information out there and hopefully help more companies build communities, bring
Yeah.
people together.
Yes, I love it. And I can see your passion around it. I'm definitely going to get the book. How
Yeah.
are we going to find out when your book is launched? Maybe you can email the community. Yeah, how do we get your book out?
Yes,
We
thank
put the
you.
notes. I mean, once it's ready, I could definitely put it into the show notes for people who catch the recording later. But yeah,
I
let us know.
appreciate that. Yeah, the easiest way to stay up to date with what I'm doing is just go to joshuazerkel.com, which will
Okay,
direct you to my LinkedIn, which you can follow me there. I
great.
post updates there about what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and definitely when this book is fully birthed, it will be shared very broadly on my LinkedIn.
Thank you so much. And can we end with just what I ask all my guests? What is that one leadership golden takeaway that you want the audience to remember?
Yeah, this is probably no surprise coming from me based on our conversation, but to me, leadership is about listening. I
Mhm,
think if you go into conversations as a leader, assuming you know what something is happening for, what is going on, what the next steps should be, you probably shouldn't even show up at all because you're just really having a conversation with yourself. And as it turns out, you probably don't know everything. I certainly don't. And as a leader, I really look at my job as listening to my stakeholders, listening to my team, listening to the customers, listening to the people around me who care, so
mhm,
that together we can craft the best decisions for how to move forward. If I
mhm.
don't listen and if I don't help foster conversations, I'm just not doing my job very well. And as a leader, I feel like that's really the crux of what we need to do.
Yes, I love it. Drop the mic. Thank you. Thank you, Joshua. So
Thanks,
all of
Melinda.
you listeners, I had a great time. Thank you so much for all your insights on building community, leadership, listening. I trust that the audience got a lot out of it. I certainly did. And so thank you again, Joshua, for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks, Melinda. And thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, audience. And until I see you next time, I am your sister in flow. Remember, anytime you have a chance to connect, you have an opportunity to inspire and to make an impact in this world. I will see you next time. Much love. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining the conversation today. Are you curious on how you measure up with your ability to speak in flow? Come grab my free self-assessment at https://speakinflow.com/assessment. And I'll see you on the other side.